Hi everyone, it's Jessica. I am coming at you from a different place in the world this time, hence the different backdrop, because I'm in my friend Neve's house, who is a great musician. There's a bunch of his music back there, who lives near Tel Aviv, Israel, and that's where I am right now. I am on a world adventure and I am on a holiday, which is so awesome because I don't often get to travel without having some work thing involved. Not that I mind, I do love going on tour, but this is nice and special and I really appreciate it. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys a little message for the new year and before I am no longer near a way to put things on YouTube for the next while, because I'm going adventuring to like the Dead Sea, climbing mountains in the desert, in the Negev. I'm going to Greece for the first time, which is going to be amazing. And I wanted to thank you guys so much because I noticed that I now have over 2,500 subscribers to my YouTube channel, which is so cool because I have never had that many subscribers on YouTube before. And I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for being interested in what I'm doing and making music-wise and what I have to say. And thank you guys so much for watching videos and stuff, and for listening to Fukue's theme part 1. A bunch of people bought it, and also I've been listening on YouTube and Bandcamp and Spotify and all that good kind of stuff, and I really appreciate it. And also I noticed that Finding Fukue is like well over 2 million views now, which is just crazy. I just keep expecting people to stop watching it, but it seems to still be bringing about all sorts of interesting connecting of people. People keep telling me that they're reaching out to people from their past, and I feel like there's like this ripple effect which has happened, which is amazing. I might have mentioned that in a former video or something, but it still kind of blows my mind, and at some point I might ask you guys to send in a 2-sentence video or something, and maybe we could put together a video talking about people you might have connected with after watching the movie, which would be cool. But anyway, that's for another time. I can't deal with that right now. So I guess the only other thing I wanted to say was I felt like I should answer another question, because that's what these videos are sort of about. So I guess a bunch of people had asked about the footage of my family from back in Japan and how that footage existed, because probably, to be honest, that people being able to understand the story and this kind of weight of of time and the exhilaration of actually reconnecting with my friend has to do with the presence of that footage, because then you can really picture what it was like when I was a kid or when my family was there. And that stuff exists because my parents were teaching English. They'd been working for a long time with this Japanese company, and when we came to that town, as you heard in the movie, there was, it was very small, and so there was definitely no foreigners there, no foreign children for sure. And so as some kind of documentation for posterity or for something, I think that their company had employed a videographer to kind of follow us around from time to time, and so that happened, and that's how that footage existed. There was 5 or 6 VHS tapes, not just of us but also of Saku City itself, which a bunch of that footage was used, and the name of the videographer was Harada, and Harada-san, and he so he's responsible for a lot of that. So that answers that question. And then I was thinking something else too, actually. I was thinking about how, obviously I was very emotional during the search for Fukue, and then that was caught on camera. And, as I mentioned in other subsequent Q&A videos subsequent to the film, I tried to find Fukue on my own without sort of the power of a team of people behind me. And I had some help, and, I got a few steps closer to finding her, but I did not find her, and I had sort of put it away. So I had sort of come to terms with the fact that I wasn't going to see her again, and I put that away. And there was some emotion at that time, obviously, about that. I got very emotional when I went to our old elementary school on that trip, and it's definitely because it was such a formative year and one I disproportionately remember from my childhood. There was emotion involved, but I'd sort of come to peace with it all and accepted that it was just how it was. And but then from the time that Daniel of Loud Roar Productions kind of sparked the idea that he might be interested in like making a documentary about this and helping me find my friend, it was, you know, a sort of long span. You guys didn't see the whole process. I've sort of explained a little bit about it, but it was a year or over a year from the beginning of the idea, maybe a year and a half. And so over the course of that time, there was many times that we filmed interviewee stuff and did stuff even before it was confirmed that that CBC was going to pick up the documentary. And so each time that I sort of was asked questions and asked to talk about that time, it sort of kind of like resurfaced the emotion of it all, which I had happily put away, and it was something that I was at peace with, as I said. But during the process, there was so much discussion about it, so much looking at photographs and looking at materials I hadn't looked at in either 10 years or maybe more. Like I never saw a bunch of that footage from my family from the past before. Like I had never seen it until I saw the film. Just like you guys probably saw before I did, because I didn't watch the film when it came out for 48 hours because I was in shock that it had come out and I had no forewarning that it was coming out. I knew roughly it was coming out soon-ish, but I thought I was going to see it before the world did. So so during that whole process, it like built up sort of the emotion about it again. And so, you know, like I think about like the scene when that surprise press conference happened in Japan, and aside from being you know, jet lagged and quite tired and actually ill as well, which being tired or hungry or those things always heighten emotions too. I was also like, I had been sort of building up this sort of like ripening these emotions for like 18 months before that, and so it all sort of like came out in these pressure situations, and it was obviously, you know, I obviously felt that way, but I suppose this is, you know, my relationship with Fukue is from so long ago, but something very important to me. So I guess the question could come up like, why is this such a raw and current emotion? But it was basically because the hunt was happening and it was getting closer and closer, and so it was getting more and more intensified. So that's sort of what happened there. I remember like when it first came out and before the film had gone viral, like a few thousand people were watching or something, and I was reading every single comment because I had never had something I put online with so many comments before, honestly. Well, not that I put that online, but, you know, which involved me. And I remember one of the early comments, which I perceived as a negative one, was, women are so emotional. And I was like, I'm like, that's your takeaway from the film. And I'm like, wouldn't you be emotional in that situation? But then, you know, everyone has different life experience. But anyway, so you know, maybe women are emotional, or maybe people are emotional, or maybe I'm sentimental. I am a bit of a sentimental person, so that probably makes me more emotional about things from the past, or reuniting with friends or whatever. But anyway, that's all. I'm gonna go. I hope you guys are all doing well, had an amazing holiday, and have a fun New Year's coming up. And thank you again for subscribing, and if you haven't checked the song yet, please do, and feel free to leave me a message and let me know other stuff that you might want me to talk about, and love you guys.